Yo, what's up, man? We back. This is your boy Young Spider on the MIC, and you are witnessing greatness on the Checkdown, where we check down on the best available waiver wire pickups of the week. And this week was a devastating week, right? Oh man, my boy Cam Scatterboo is out of there, bro. His ankle is no longer, his foot is no longer pointing east to west. It's pointing west to east. And I just wanted to do something for him right now, Mr. Scatterboo. And I wanted to have a moment of silence to pay homage to his projected greatness that was overhyped because he didn't last that long. But that's another story. But I want to, have a moment of silence for my boy Cam Scatterboo. Please join me. All right. Get well soon, my boy. Get well soon. So coming up on the Checkdown, we have injuries. We have waiver wire pickups that you guys need to target this week. And we have the stash of the week. This is the Checkdown. Are you down to check it out? Yes, indeed, he feed the needy. You know what I'm saying? It's your boy Young Spider, and we back, man. And we're going to get straight into it, bro, because, I don't like to make these long because I know people got things to do, like myself. And there's people that you guys should already have. So these are the people that are, still out there that may or may not affect your week. But first we got to get straight into the injuries, right, man? And that brings me to my next segment that I created, man, and it's the check down graveyard, bro. The check down graveyard, fam. That's where everyone who is unalived right now in fantasy football reside. And as you can see, my boy Cam Scatterboo is the latest to arrive. There are no dates. There are no times of death on here. There's only MIA. That's it. All of them. MIA. In the ground. Unalive. Dead. Cam Scatterboo, unfortunately, man. He carried the ball 101 times and he had 410 rushing yards this season so far, which ranked him 18th out of 21. And that's respectively. You feel me? He scored 5 rushing touchdowns as well, Unfortunately, things turned ugly. He suffered a dislocated ankle, fibula fracture, and a ligament rupture, man. Unbelievable for Cam Scatterboo, and it sucks, man. It sucks that he has to end up there, but, you play hard, you end up there. I don't feel bad for him. He played hard. He was overhyped now that I think about it. Don't get me wrong. He didn't do much, but people were comparing him to people that he shouldn't have been compared to. And that's a whole nother story. But man, dude, like these injuries, like I said, are unfortunate, right? And we're going to get into the other injuries that we have. You see Cam Scatterboo right there, dog. If you had Cam Scatterboo, move him to the IR and treat him like gold, dude. You feel me? Treat him like fantasy gold, especially if you're in dynasty leagues, because sooner or later, next year or the year after that, this doesn't seem like one of those injuries that's going to last for like a short period of time. This is going to be a long-term injury. You feel me? It's going to be an injury that dwells and lingers for a while, maybe in his career. He's not going to be able to cut the same. And you know what's funny about Cam Scatterboo's injury? Unfortunately, I thought that he was going to have like a concussion or something. not his ankle. That was the last thing I was thinking, and it's just absolutely terrible, man. But moving forward, we got Terry McLaurin with the Washington Commanders. I mean, he's usually a fantasy staple, a consistent outside threat, but this season he's only logged 13 receptions for 203 yards and just one touchdown, and that's crazy, bro. His average catch, 15.6 yards after the catch. It's terrible, dude. Terry McLaurin's been having a terrible year. Scary Terry is no longer scary. He's dealing with a quad injury that flared up again, and he will miss week 9, unfortunately, at least. The team is being cautious with him because he's prized possession. He's a receiver that's gonna go out there and grab that ball, and do things with the ball. You feel me? Next up, we got AJ Brown, man. AJ Brown. There's a lot of things going on with him, right? I heard that the Philadelphia Eagles are actually shopping around for him right now, trying to get rid of him, looking into some teams that might have an advantage by getting him. I'm thinking New York, but that'll be nasty, right? New York and Eagles doing this back and forth type of trade situation in the same division. I really don't get it, but hey, whatever you want, He's been productive this season, don't get me wrong. He has his ups and downs and his hiccups, but he totals 29 receptions for 395 receiving yards, and he snagged 3 touchdowns so far. His catch list ranked tied for 41, yards, 35th among receivers. However, he's battling a hamstring injury and has been limited in practice heading into the bye week. They believe he'll be back after the bye week, but that's what I'm saying. If he comes back, will he be traded? What will happen to his fate? Who will know, man? Watch him. You got to have replacements for these guys. You feel me? Don't just let them go by the wayside. Have replacements for them, and make sure you have something in the chamber to replace these people if anything happens. Because once those quad injuries and those thigh injuries happen and calf muscles and all those high ankle sprains, you got to keep an eye on these people, dude. As usual, Saquon Barkley has come back to his getting injured every so often, and it's like Saquon Barkley, he's coming off one of the best fantasy performances this year, and that says a lot, dude, because he hasn't really done much for fantasy owners. Now, he's dealing with a growing injury that is reported to be minor, but I don't trust the Eagles, you know what I'm saying? So you got to have a contingency plan, and I'm going to talk about that plan coming forward. I got plans for pretty much 2 of the 4 people that you see right here, because the other 2, you should have them already. And if you don't, I wouldn't play anyone else, and that's Devontae Smith and Deebo Samuels. You know what I'm saying? You should already have them or traded for them, or someone else probably has them on your team. So those are my injuries for the week. You feel me? Let's get into, we got to pay our sponsors, bro. Football is money. Whether you're a diehard fan, fantasy manager, or just in it for the drama, we're here every week to bring you the action and analysis you crave. Plus, don't miss a beat. Follow Football is Money on all social platforms for extra updates and live game insights. Join the team, subscribe today, and let's make every game count on Football is Money. Yes, indeed, man. Football is money, man. Go over there, footballismoney.com. Y'all know where to go. I always put it up on the screen, footballismoney.com. That's where you can get parlay advice, fantasy lineup advice, anything football and money related. My guy, they call me boss, has the information that you need to feed your greed. Football is money, you heard? All right, man, so I'm not going to keep on going on with this show, right, without paying respects to people that deserve it. You feel me? Because this is all about redemption for this guy. And he used the Lord himself, Jesus Christ, to will his team to a win. And people can breeze over that and act like that wasn't miraculous, but I feel like he willed that game. And we're going to talk about Justin Fields. Yes, sir. Justin Fields takes flight. He has the highest completion ratio out of the premier quarterbacks in the league. I think he has the highest. I don't think he has any turnovers. You feel me? So don't give up on him, yet. He's going to throw the ball. He's going to get the rock out there, and he's going to get his team involved eventually. People slept on him last week. I did not, because I figured, he has to do something, right? Your job is on the line. You got to chunk that thing. You got to make things happen. If you do not make things happen, then, the whole team will falter and everything will go down now. Now, the New York Jets pulled off a wild 39-38 victory over the Bengals, marking their first win of the 2025 season. Justin Fields entered the game under heavy pressure. His starting role was uncertain, you know what I'm saying? He didn't know what he was going to be faced with, public criticism from the team's owner, you feel me? Like the team owner said, this man is trash, you feel me? And his final stat line was 21 of 32 passing for 244 yards, 1 touchdown plus 31 rushing yards, which is mediocre, don't get me wrong. And if I'm not mistaken, that is completely and utterly wrong. Those stats are not correct. He did have more than 1 touchdown, I believe, but I gotta double check that. But we don't have time to double check that. He had an awesome game, and he did what he needed to do to keep his team alive. That's what's important. You feel me? And his numbers, the way his percentage, his completion rate percentage is up like that, I pretty much believe that's because of one thing and one thing only: fear. And let me explain that to y'all, bro. The fear was before he did before he started performing good, right? His fear was throwing interceptions. He was trying to be perfect, right? He was trying to do everything perfect, perfect ball placement, pause, etc. But as soon as he started letting that thing fly, he started making his progressions. He started making his reads. He started just playing free. You know what I'm saying? I think him crying in that closet, I think God heard him, apparently. And hopefully he can probably will them for more wins by going in that closet again, getting on his knees, crying and asking and begging for another win, because New York needs it. You feel me? They need it, bruh. You know what I'm saying? So that brings me to my first waiver wire ad of the week, man. I'm gonna have to go with my boy Isaiah Davis. You feel me? I say Isaiah Davis for a number of things. I've been saying this for about going on 3 weeks now, right? We've talked about Breece Hall and how they're shopping around for him, how they're looking to replace him eventually, maybe, but they're starting to roll. Breece Hall threw a touchdown pass. That's probably why Justin Fields' stat line is like that. It looks surprising for what it is, but Breece Hall did throw a touchdown pass, and he did go off like none other from the third all the way through to the fourth quarter, But eventually, if trades don't happen, or if they do happen, Isaiah Davis might be someone you need to put on your bench right now and prepare for whatever happens. Isaiah Davis, 174 rushing yards, 1 touchdown. 2024, that's what that was. And he was the third running back, Now he's the second man up. He has 44 rushing yards and 192 receiving yards. And he almost scored a touchdown. If you watch that game, he was deadly close, but he doesn't have the jet engines to move that heavy body. Pause. He needs to get in the gym, lose a couple pounds, and maybe he would have, got that touchdown. But Isaiah Davis, right now, I think he's rostered in all fantasy leagues, 25%. So, he's out there. You can grab him if you really want him. You know what I'm saying? If you really need him and you really want him, I would go for him, man, because Justin Fields is on a redemption tour. You feel me? And the bigger picture is, is the comeback. It's the way that these players will have to step up. If someone is kept, if someone is traded, the next man has to step up. And Isaiah Davis is going to be that next man. If they shop around for Breece Hall, then Breece Hall eventually gets, deleted off that team. And that's real, man. You want to be ahead of the curve when we're talking about your fantasy, the waiver wire and your fantasy, lineup. Like, think ahead. Don't just, go off the muscle, off of, emotions and things like that. You got to pay attention to the news, who's being moved around. The trade deadline is coming up. Pay attention to it. You know what I'm saying? And while you're paying attention to that, you know what I'm saying, you got to pay attention to my boy out there in Titanland. Now hear me out, man. I know what y'all thinking, right? I know what y'all thinking right now, man. Y'all, Shimmery DK for the Titans, man. Look, if you desperate out there, bro, pick him up. If you're not desperate, leave him where he's at. That's what I'm going to tell you, man. I don't want to go deep into this guy. I just know that right now on the waiver wire, there are slim pickings, and this guy kind of did enough last week. Not enough to win. I don't know what the Titans are actually doing at all. I have no clue. They keep just running Cam Ward. I don't know if they're trying to give him experience by getting him beaten to the ground or if it's just entertaining. I don't know. Somebody chime in and let me know. But I know Shamir DK has been getting a lot of he's been getting a lot of looks his way, a lot of balls thrown his way, pause. And he's been catching them balls, pause. And he's been doing what he needs to do with those balls. And that's what is important, pause again. You feel me? Most of the time, when you look at a wide receiver who has a poor quarterback, this is kind of like definitely a boom or bust situation. Listen to me, bro. Like, you don't put DK on your team and start him because you see me on your screen talking about Checkdown. If you're desperate, bro, you can put him out there. If not, put him on your bench, bro. Me personally, I wouldn't pick him up because I wouldn't put myself in that position to have to pick him up. But some people are in that position, so there you go. His reads are going up. His targets are going up. His production and volume is going up. So he's one of those people that you can keep your eye on because if you don't, your league mate might get him. And they might start him, which could be a good thing. Who knows? So next person that we're going up, man, we're going to go, to the mountains, Denver, Colorado, dude. Troy Franklin, dude, this guy has been on a tear, bro, like a complete tear, dude. If you have him, he's a boom or bust type of guy, but he's high ceiling, sir. High ceiling, low. Like he's gonna probably, if he doesn't do much, you're gonna walk away with 8 fantasy points. If he does do something, you're going to walk away with 20, almost 30 fantasy points. In week 8, this man hauled in 6 receptions on 8 targets for 89 yards and 2 touchdowns in the Broncos' 44-24 blowout win over my guys, the Cowboys. The 2 touchdowns were significant. One came on a 25-yard strike, and he found the end zone twice, dude. That performance marked a clear setup compared to his rookie season, where he had 28 catches for 263 yards and 2 touchdowns in 16 games. My man has risen to the call. They called his number and he has risen, man. You see the stats on the screen. You see him with his hands out, like, what's up? The Cowboys' secondary struggled throughout the matchup, and Franklin took full advantage, man. He ran all over him, wide open. For a second-year receiver, producing multi-touchdowns in near 90-yard games elevates his status from up-and-coming to must-watch. You feel me? And that's 100% correct. I concur, dude. Like, if Troy Franklin is on your waiver wire, you need to turn this off right now, or while I'm talking, you need to go select I want him now. Get him on your team. I'm just saying, if you don't start him, if it's a matchup that's bad, leave him on your bench, bro. He's like one of those people that's gonna do something. He's gonna do something. Eventually, he's gonna pop, and he's gonna pop probably the second half of the season because everyone is on that hunt for a playoff spot, trying to get to that Super Bowl. You know what I mean? And I know another person that's trying to get to that Super Bowl, dog. Tyrone Tracy, man. Listen. This is his opportunity, man. If Breece Hall comes, that's a possibility coming to New York. But if he does not, man, my guy Tyrone Tracy is already turning heads out there, dog. He's already getting people noticed, letting people know what he got going on. You know what I'm saying? And if he's out there, you need to get him. You know why? He's a fast-paced running back. You feel me? Real fast, man. And Scatterboo is out. That's the main thing right now, right? Is that he is out. So Tyrone Tracy will be the next best thing. Now, this is only if you add Scatterboo. If you're dropping someone to pick up Tyrone Tracy Jr. and you put him in your starting lineup, it's because you have to. You don't have a choice. You either had Scatterboo or some other running back that's injured or was injured, and now you're desperate because you might be in the mid, like ranked number 6, like right on the precipice of being in playoff contention when it comes in fantasy football. Tyrone Tracy has to perform, right? If the New York Giants don't go for a trade, if they don't do something quickly, then Tyrone Tracy is the next man up. And I feel like he's the next thing that New York needs, basically. You know what I'm saying? Devin Singletary, I think that's his name. Yeah, Devin Singletary, he's on that team too, and they've been using him. He's more like a utility knife. He does 2 things. It's like both of these backs do 2 things at once. But I'm telling you, before Scatterboo was injured and his leg was pointing, east to west, my guys, one of these guys were going to go bye-bye. I don't know if they're still thinking about doing that. I don't know if these guys are on the contracts. I'm not here for that. I'm here for fantasy football. Look at them, pick them up on the waiver wire and grab that man and grab him right now, doc. You know what I'm saying? That's my advice to you guys, man. You feel me? And before I go on, on the stash of the week, you know what I'm saying? I got something to say for everybody watching right now. I appreciate the 6 viewers, bro. And you guys going to learn a little bit more, you know what I'm saying, about the Checkdown. You heard? Check it out.
Man, my fantasy lineup is all messed up. I don't know what to do. I look on the waiver wire. I don't know who to pick up. It's so many options. Jeez.
Yo, don't worry, man. It doesn't matter if your lineup is jacked up and you don't know who to pick up. It's okay, because I got you. Over here at Checkdown, what we do is we check down on the best available waiver wire pickups, and I'm here for anybody who needs the help. So if you have waiver wire issues, don't know who to pick up, injuries, just go over to Checkdown and we'll have the answers for you. This is Spider Loc with the Checkdown. Are you down to check it out? To check it out, to check it out, to check it out, to check it out, to check it out. I like doing that every time that happens, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, a check down, that's what we do, bro. Like, that's what we do here is we get down with the get down for the greatest players that are available for you guys. Now, I know a lot of questionable names were brought up in this podcast, but that's only because they're slim pickings now. If you watch my episodes from last week, that's why I'm not naming the people that you're watching on your favorite podcast. I'm not going to name. I've already done that. I've already thought about that, bro. You should have been listening, right? And I was stanging people. And I was proving it. And I was showing proof. You hear? Just, look at episode 8, 7, week 6. Go back. Find out what it is. But right now, as for now, man, it's time for that stash of the week. Yeah, man, that stash of the week, bro, which is my favorite part of the show because this is where you get, this is the jewels, right? Pause. This is the jewels of the show. These players that I highlight during this segment are people you need to listen to. Like, listen to me. All right? And my stash of the week this week will be a no-brainer to anybody who's a Philadelphia Eagles fan. Tank Bigsby. You got to grab him. Like, you saw what he did with his opportunities after Saquon Barkley went down. Saquon Barkley is dealing with an injury. How much money do you want to bet right now that they're not going to play that man when they come back off the bye week? Because they don't need him. They don't need him right now. They got Tank Bigsby, and I feel like listen to the things in the reports that come up during the week leading after the bye week. A.J. Brown might be getting traded. They tired of the loner type of feel that he brings to the table. Saquon Barkley, when he gets injured, dude, not only does he miss multiple weeks, it's usually 3 to 4, bro. I'm not going to lie to you. He got big old muscles, and I think that's a muscle on his fat thigh. You know what I'm saying? And he depends on that to get bursts and stuff. I don't think it's worth it to re-aggravate it. We see what happened with McLaurin, right? Like, I'm just saying. McLaurin's been, man, people drafted this guy, third, fourth round in some leagues. It's terrible. And he has done absolutely nothing for these people. You know what I mean? He's been dropped in some leagues. I picked him up and put him on the bench. I didn't even play him in the game he got hurt, but it's a whole nother story. Tank Bigsby is the next man up, and he's going to be used in that offense moving forward because I'm pretty sure they're giving him some reps just in case, you know what I'm saying? So keep an eye on Tank Bigsby and keep thinking ahead of the game, all right? Think ahead of your competition. You want to always be ahead of the competition. You always want to be on top of things. Pause. All right? So, man, that's the show, bro. You know what I'm saying? I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you guys next week, man, for another installment of the Checkdown. Are you down to check it out?